Here we are a few years later. And this one is from 2 weeks ago.
And you can't see the image. The image was of him and Michelle. In the third image, it was Michelle Obama and would look to be a skeleton dressed up in a suit. I guess that's Barack Obama. And a lot of people have made that point. Like, over the years, Michelle, it's like she found the fountain of youth. And she's taking look, she's taking advantage of all of the privileges of being the first lady. It looks like it. Drinking water, eating vegetables, eating fruits. I'm not sure what happened. Now she got that glow to her skin. And Obama, and again, I believe he was dyeing his hair before he became president. He just stopped dyeing his hair. He looks grayer and grayer and grayer. You know, heavy is the crown. Heavy is the crown. I don't know if this is a cause for celebration, but 5 years ago, this week, the president of the United States, Barack Obama, got his man. That's right. It was 5 years ago that Osama bin Laden was brought to so-called justice. And there's still so many question marks. Like, is that justice just to execute someone? As the story goes, he was shot in the face or in the head by U.S. Special Forces. And his body was just like thrown out to sea, laid to rest out to sea. That seems very suspicious. There's so many conspiracy theories. But what I thought was so interesting is that leading up to the death, if you believe Osama bin Laden is actually dead, leading up to the death of Osama bin Laden, you know, the war on terror seemed to hang, the balance of it seemed to hang on finding Osama bin Laden, who, by the way, was a CIA asset for many years. The bin Laden family has a very cozy relationship with the Bush family, as in the former President Bush. Yeah, there's some real suspicious connections there, okay, between American politicians, right, the U.S. government, and the Saudi royal family, the bin Mafusis, the bin Ladens, even Osama bin Laden himself. And how is it with all the technology and all the advances and all of the satellites, it took so long to find this guy? He was just chilling in a compound playing Xbox on PlayStation, and they roll up on him? That was very suspicious. Very suspicious. Very suspicious. Again, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Some of them seem more believable than others. They really do. But what seems so interesting to me is even after we got Osama bin Laden, the war on terror seemed to blaze on. I mean, when will it stop? Will it ever stop? How many people does the United States and our allies have to kill for us to end the war on terror? Same thing happened in Iraq. You know, every single week it seemed like there was some new ultimate bad guy. Mohammed this, Mohammed that, right? And every time eventually they would get the guy, they would corner him. We've got him. He would be executed or detained. And guess what? They never stop fighting. They never stop fighting. That is deep. That is deep. So how much longer is this war on terror going to rage on? My daughter's 10. She's never known a world. She's not really that, familiar with it. It's not like, omnipresent in her world because she's 10. She's more caught up with like whatever she's caught up with. What are her friends doing? But, I mean, will she ever, how far into her adulthood is this war on terror going to go? And how much money is it going to cost us as American citizens? I mean, there's 1,000 questions we can get into. I believe that Osama bin Laden should have had his day in court, like every other so-called criminal. I mean, what evidence did they have that Osama bin Laden was actually behind 911, other than some videos? I mean, you got cats on YouTube. You got teenagers on YouTube who can doctor videos. It's easy to doctor a video to wag the dog. You can't trust what you see on a video per se. That whole thing was very suspicious, folks. Very suspicious. And to me, 911, the powers that be, use 911 to take more of your civil liberties away, to put more money into a surveillance society, and to spend billions of dollars fighting against terrorism, which is a tactic. There is no country called terrorism. It is a tactic. It's a tactic that's employed by people who don't have hundreds of billions of dollars to build an army. Okay? You want to strike back? You don't have hundreds of billions of dollars for an army? Tactical strikes, so-called terrorist tactics. I get it. I understand it. But sadly, most Americans do not. Keenan writes, he always dyed his hair. Keenan writes, if you notice, all the presidents went gray besides old Ronald Reagan. I think it's because before they become president, in an effort to look younger and more virile and more capable, they dye their hair. And then once they become president, then it kind of flips. You want to look a little bit more distinguished. That's just my thoughts on it. Or maybe maybe they take you into a room and tell you all the secrets and you're like, the hell? Aliens? JFK, the truth. And it just turns your hair gray. I don't know. You had to tell me. Anybody have any parting thoughts about this father? I believe if you've missed the story, it's on my Facebook page right now. This man is going to face charges because he beat the hell out of his son with some boxing gloves on, which to me is one of the saddest things I've seen in a very, very long time. It tells me this man probably grew up with no love, no respect, disrespected by his father, beaten by his father. This is what you do to your son these days? And my question is very simple. Should this man be charged with a crime? Many people on Facebook, when I first posted this, I believe it was on Saturday, believe he should be charged. And this comes out of Virginia, a Virginia man. His name is Travis Sellers. On Facebook, he identifies himself as Tay Diggs Ditches. He don't look nothing like Tay Diggs. And he turned himself into police on Friday. Shortly after we got off the air, it was about 12:30 a.m. And he was charged with domestic assault and battery. He was released on a $5,000 unsecured bond. And apparently somebody turned him in. Like I told you, at some point in the video, you can hear the man saying, apologize to your teacher. If a teacher views that video, that teacher has a responsibility to contact the law. This man is an idiot. Did he think people were going to say, yeah, you're going to keep another young brother off the street? Yeah, we need that tough love. Is that tough love or is that just tough? So let this be a lesson. That's not teaching your child anything. You're humiliating them. You're physically abusing them. That's it. Nothing more. Mr. Tay Diggs, Tay Diggs, Tay Diggs my ass. But that's what his name is on Facebook. Mr. Tay Diggs says basically that, quote, it's no one's place to judge how he takes care of his business in his house. That's the same thing that men who abuse their wives say. It's my house. Abusers always say that, don't they? It's none of your business what I do in my house. I can beat my wife. I can beat my children. It's my house. No, Mr. Tay Diggs, it's not. Listen, folks, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you. This show will be made available as a podcast on my website, nathanivey.com, immediately following the end of the show. Okay? Have a great Monday. Take care of yourself. And until next time, I'll be back. But before we leave, I want to share one last thing with you. As I said, I want to share 3 examples, okay, 3 stories, 3 experiences, okay? Before we leave, I want to give you the last one that I use as personal motivation for success, okay? And I've already shared 2 with you. One was the example that I learned from a family member, from my uncle, who started his own business, literally from laying on the couch, people. Hear me when I say this. This is not hyperbole. I'm not Ronald Richie. Literally laying on the couch, talking about an idea, to actually putting that idea in place. Black man from the city, never graduated from college, never went to college, but just had drive, had some support, didn't really have any money. Okay? I think a lot of people think, well, I'm going to wait to start this great idea until everything is perfect. Well, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Things are never perfect. Second is that, taking this class called Life and meeting Dr. Nancy Spence and really just untapping that power inside of me, learning how to tap into it, through many techniques, not the least of which is visualization. But the third reason, or the third thing that pushes me towards success, quite honestly, is you. It's the support that I've gotten since the very time I cracked the microphone. It's funny how things happen. A baby bird will never learn how to fly until it's pushed out of the nest. And that's the same way that I look at my experiences at Radio 1. I have nothing but fond memories. And I still remember that last day when I was there. It was like December 4th or 5th, 2005. And I remember the feeling that I had when I was walking out of the building. And it was two feelings. On one hand, with responsibilities, children, whatever, you think, okay, how do I hold this down? But I knew I had some proceeds coming. I knew I could take care of that. The other was an unbelievable feeling of now I can do what I've always wanted to do. I can do what I've always wanted to do. And I guess it's just the power of just the way that you conduct yourself or whatever. But I remember that weekend and that week, there were numerous people that reached out to me. A lot of love. A lot of people showed me a lot of love online. And I remember thinking, maybe I can do this. Yeah. So, there's a lot to be said about vocalizing your feelings and letting people know how you feel, okay? And pushing that support forward, okay? And in some cases, that can be what tips people over the other side. Like I had a man in a vain effort to try to get me to work with him. He wanted me to partner up with him. He showed me a bag full of cash, folks. It wasn't anything illegal. Nothing illegal at all. I'm not even trying to apply that. But I thought, damn. He see it too. So again, I want to share those three personal stories. What's the moral of that last story? Why am I sharing it with you? Well, it's pretty simple. Support the people that support you. If you see somebody or hear somebody, and I do this all the time. Okay, I'm good for this. Whether it's on social media, face-to-face, support them. Because those words, those well wishes, those attaboys, those you can do it, those I got your back can go a long way. They can go a long way. But listen, that's my time. I really appreciate you. Thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m., NathanIvey.com. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.